A lot of action in the federal courts this week as a three-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a single judge's earlier ruling, putting a temporary halt to President Trump's immigration order. That's no shocker. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is the most liberal court in the country, also the most appealed and also the most overturned. So the real question is, what's next? The Trump administration could seek a so-called en banc hearing, the full court, but not likely that you're going to get a different judgment out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They could take it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. A lot of folks will say that court is deadlocked 4-4 along political lines, and that could be a problem for the Trump administration since a tie vote goes to the side that's prevailed previously. But I'm guessing that if it does go that direction, it would not be 4-4. It would be at least 5-3 and could actually be 8-0 because the Ninth Circuit was so wrong on the law. They flipped the burden of proof completely on its head, putting it on the President of the United States rather than on the moving party, and they substituted their judgment for the President's. And under the statute, the Immigration Act in particular, it clearly is the purview of the President to make those kinds of judgments, not another court. So if it does go to the Supreme Court of the United States, I think the Trump administration has a pretty good shot. But the more likely path at this point, and in my judgment the more prudent, is for the Trump administration to simply rewrite the executive order. It wasn't the most cleanly handled in the first place. There were a few T's that needed to be crossed and I's that needed to be dotted along the way. But they can now go back and put into place the really critical national security concerns about vetting, one, and two, they can preserve the moratorium, a 90-day pause, not a permanent halt, to the refugee immigration from those 7 nations identified, incidentally, not by the Trump administration, but by the Obama administration. But in all of this, it really boils down to the fact that the presidency, the executive office, has become too big and too powerful over the course of the last decade or 2 or 3. This isn't anything unique to the Trump administration. It certainly grew under President Obama. And Congress both abdicated much of its responsibility and had some of the rest usurped by the president, in particular Barack Obama, who famously used that pen to end run Congress. So what you've now set up is numerous battles between the executive branch and the judiciary over the powers. That can be corrected if Congress reclaims its rightful authority under the Constitution. That would be great for the nation. And that is the best 60 seconds of your week.